Hi everybody, I'm Danny Dancer. I'm the Kidtropolis educator here at Children's Museum Houston, and today I am going to show you how you can make your own homemade butter. So right now we are celebrating the return of Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo, which we're very excited about. And at Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo, people from all over Texas and all across the country come to show off the livestock that they have bred and raised. And one of the animals that are brought out for the show are dairy cows. So there are lots and lots of different kinds of milk, because we have oat milk and we have soy milk and we have milk that we can have from other animals like goat's milk, but the most popular milk by far across the world is dairy milk. And dairy milk can be used to make cheese, and it can be used to make cream, and we can use it for ice cream, one of my favorites, but we can also use it to make butter. So I'm going to show you how you do that here today. Now, in order to make your own butter, the biggest thing that you need is some heavy whipping cream. Now, it does actually need to be heavy whipping cream. You can't use like skim milk or 2% milk or half and half or anything like that, because we really need the high fat content in order to make our butter. The other thing you need is a container that has a really good seal on the top. So we want like an airtight container that we don't have to worry about the cap falling off. And you need to be prepared to put in a little work. So this is actually a good one to do with like a friend or somebody else in your family, so that you can share some of the work, because it's going to take a little while to do this. Everybody ready? Here's how we do it. First, we're going to take some of our cream and we're going to pour it into our jar. Now, it's up to you how much you want to make, but this is ultimately going to separate into two different products. We're going to have our butter, and then we're going to have what's known as buttermilk. And it's going to be about 50-50, maybe a little more butter, a little less buttermilk. So if you poured a cup in here, you're going to get about half a cup of butter. So just keep that in mind. Put the cap on top, seal it, and now comes the fun part. And by fun part, I mean the part that's going to take a while. We're just going to shake. Doesn't this look great? So much fun. Now, you actually have to do this for a while. It's going to take probably about 15 minutes to make our butter. Everybody ready? Let's just watch. Okay, this seems a little boring. Let's skip ahead. Okay, I've been shaking this jar for about 5 minutes. I think you can tell it's not butter yet, but we have made a different dairy product that you can find in the store. Check it out. We have whipping cream. Oh, so good. Now, if we actually wanted to, we could stop here, maybe add a little sugar to this just to sweeten it up a bit, and we'd have whipping cream. You can also make ice cream in kind of a similar way. We do need to add a couple of other ingredients, namely some salt and some ice to the outside of the container, so that as it turns into cream, it is also freezing. But we, of course, did not set out to make whipping cream or even amazing ice cream. We set out to make butter, and that means we have to keep going. So I'm going to put my lid back on, and I'm going to keep shaking. Now, after I shake it for a little while, I don't even hear sound coming out of this anymore, because it's so thick, because all those fat molecules that are in my cream are starting to stick together. But I'm still going to keep shaking, even though it's not really making a lot of noise. It doesn't seem to be moving, because I'm still getting those different molecules to kind of bounce past each other. And the more movement I give it, the sooner it'll turn into butter. So let's keep going. All right, now I've been shaking this for pretty close to 15 minutes. I'm not gonna lie, my arm is pretty tired, but the cool thing is, if you look at my jar, it looks like I have all this liquid inside again. Wait a second, I started out with a liquid. This is now my separated liquid. This is my buttermilk, and I have a big old chunk of solid in here, which is in fact starting to look like, wait for it, it's gonna be worth it. There we go. My butter. I got more butter than I even thought. Check it out. Now I could actually shake this a little bit longer if I wanted to get it a little more solid, but I'm gonna go ahead and stop here. The next step, this one's really important. You do need to wash off your butter. I know it sounds weird. We're gonna wash butter off in like water, but we wanna get all of that buttermilk squeezed out and cleaned off of our butter, because that's gonna help our butter last a little longer. The buttermilk would actually sour our butter and it wouldn't be good to eat at that point. So we're gonna go ahead and wash this off. I'm actually gonna use my hands even, but I'll put it in my little strainer so that I could run it under the sink, really clean off that buttermilk and squeeze some of it out a little bit as I do, and then I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. All right, my butter is washed, and check it out. I have a little bit of butter. Now, if you want to, you can add a little bit of salt to this. Unsalted butter is really good for like baking, but if you're gonna like spread it on a piece of toast, you might wanna add that salt first, just a little bit to make it taste a little more like the butter you might be used to. But I have my butter. I'm all done here. Now, like I said, this took me a little while. My arm is gonna need a little while to recover. If you want to do this in a way that takes about the same amount of time but takes a lot less work, and you happen to have an electric mixer at home, this will do the job for you. Because when I turn this on, boom, I get this guy inside to move around, and it'll basically do that same job of mixing all of those fat molecules to separate them away from the liquid, that buttermilk. But word of warning, it starts off a little messy. Then we get our whipped cream and we go, ooh, whipped cream. And then when it starts to separate, it gets really messy and that buttermilk starts flying all over the place. I speak from experience. I made a mess in my kitchen. So protect your own. Just get a little cheesecloth or kind of simple kitchen towel and just drape it over so your towel soaks up all of that liquid. But this is a way that you can take dairy milk from those dairy cows and turn it into different products like whipping cream, or you can take it all the way over to delicious butter. So I hope you guys have fun doing this little food cooking science experiment at home. Thanks everybody for watching, and we'll see y'all soon. Bye.